stand by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Good evening. This is Wade here with Matt and Baby Conway over here. As usual, we're on. You're tuned in. You found us. This is the Meeks Brothers Cattle Company Georgia Folk and Farm Life radio show, an extension of Georgia Folk and Farm Life Facebook group, and other things and more. Just a wonderful place for you to spend a half hour. And we're glad you joined us.
Or longer, if you want to listen.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to music, but
that's right.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, you can listen to the station anytime.
Yeah.
You know, tonight I put a promo up a little ahead of time about, and y'all know that. Bear with me, my voice is not strong, and sometimes it hurts, and I have to stop talking. But I'm a trooper, you know what they say. I'm gonna sally forth and carry on and all that good rot. But I was thinking that today. I put on a little promo a while ago about the show, and usually towards the end I'll mention Meeks Brothers Cattle Company being a sponsor. But I listen to old time radio shows a lot from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And back then, Matt, you may not know this, you may know it. The shows is the biggest of stars, say Jack Benny, Fred Allen, George Burns, and Gracie Allen. Those shows, they were not called the Burns and Allen show or the Jack Benny.
No,
it was called the sponsors.
That's right, the Meeks Brothers Cattle Company.
It was the Jello program starring Jack Benny, and Phil Harris's orchestra, that kind of thing. And the star, no matter how big they were, was second-rate billing behind the name of the sponsor. And Jack Benny's sponsor varied over time from Jello to Johnson's Wax to Lucky Strike cigarettes and different ones. But each time it would be like the Lucky Strike tobacco show starring Jack Benny. So we put Meeks Brothers out there first and foremost tonight.
That's right. You want to start over again? It's the Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Yeah, the Meeks Brothers show tonight.
Yeah.
With Wade and Conway. There you go.
Yeah. And Matt.
We'll get it right eventually.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on a successful gathering down there at New Beginnings in Christ. A lot of people showed up. A lot of food, and I heard again about the rutabagas.
The rutabaga, listen.
The mystery rutabaga, because you don't know who brought it.
No, Judy and I were sitting together, and Judy says...
Your wife emeritus.
Wife emeritus. Judy says, oh, these rutabagas are good. And she cooks great rutabagas, too. And I said, really? She said, taste them. So I stabbed some off her plate, and I if I wasn't so fat and lazy, I'd get up and go get some of those.
But they were pretty good.
They were very good. So whoever made the rutabagas, great job. They passed the Wade and Judy test. So
that is good.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier today about old time radio shows, and you said that they always used to mention the calorie enhanced man and how he would sit in a chair.
Yeah, they was
a special chair all made for himself.
Yeah, the fat man. The show. And yeah, calorie enhanced. But this is, we can't.
We're grown ups. Okay, but after this weekend, you decided that all of that food that you had, you could probably play the part of the calorie enhanced man.
Yeah, our idea of oversized people, we're using euphemisms here, like me. Has changed. In the era that radio show, the Fat Man was with, the promo would come, he sits in a custom-made desk in a custom chair fit to hold his bulk, 240 pounds of... I'm like, I would give anything if I weighed 240 pounds again. It's been years since I weighed 240 pounds. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Well, today there's plenty of us that, my size and bigger. So, but evidently, we were talking about that. If you look at old photographs from street scenes at the county fair, anywhere, gathering of people before World War II, most of them were thin or normal, side. People just didn't have the food like we have now, and the snacks and the lack of exercise. It's a combination of things. But anyway, I could, if they ever want to revive the Fat Man radio show, I got it right here. Of course, you can fudge it on radio. They probably had a guy, 98-pound weakling with a strong voice.
With a strong voice, yeah.
Yeah.
Who sits in his own special chair.
That reminds me, Greg Bell hosts the Radio Classic show on Sirius XM, and he's an expert and does this syndicated show about the old-time radio shows, and he introduces them, and he'll tell you some tidbits about things. I don't remember the show today that he was naming who was the voices in that show, but he said the main character there, I don't remember his name, but that he was thin, wiry, short, balding, and wore thick glasses, very meek little fella, but he had a very stentorious, stern-sounding voice, a deep voice, and radio. It didn't matter, TV. His career was over when TV came, because it would be comical for him to play any character that fit his voice. But I was listening to it, and I'm thinking, well, I like that. I like radio, and that you use your imagination. It is a theater of imagination. People listen to a show, those old radio shows, and everybody fills in characters in their mind. It's not a blank slate. They fill in characters in their mind as they're listening, and not anybody hears the same show as the other person, because the characters are different.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're talking about the competition tonight. That's good.
Yeah, we love. Yeah. I want to. Yeah. Old time radios. Yeah. Jack Benny pushing our numbers here, Matt.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We're real worried.
He's been
on
dead
Georgia
for years,
Radio.
Matt. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
I'm telling you. Well, we need to get. That'd be fun.
And
we
Lucky
need to,
Strike. Don't have to worry about.
No.
I mean, we can make them mad. They're not going to be a sponsor.
No, I don't think so. But we do have a good sponsor, and that is Meeks Brothers Cattle Company.
Brothers Cattle.
You can order your own beef at mbcbeef.com, and you can do that right now. And then go pick it up. They even have the mobile beef trailer now.
Beef mobile.
The
beef mobile.
The beef mobile. They've got it. The meat wagon. You can go get it right off the wagon.
And you know what? It has two horns.
Oh my gosh.
Beep.
So my
pull to stop. They blow the horn.
I'm storing a.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm storing a car right now. A family car, and I'm storing it for my brother-in-law, and it's my dear father-in-law's old 1960s Cadillac convertible, and it's a tuna boat. This thing's like 29 feet long. But anyway, I was pulling it out of the garage, and it's like a ship leaving port. And so the air horn in that thing, it's got to be 3.5 feet long under the hood of that thing. So, you got to wait and let it build up a little pressure, right? Because it all works off vacuum pressure. So I waited a few minutes, and I blew that horn, and it sounds like a ship leaving the port.
Funny.
Boom.
Yeah.
And then off you go,
Great horns, yeah.
Big old horn. You need one of those.
Not that cow horn, see.
Yeah.
Beef, the beef mobile has horns.
The car has different horns.
No, I don't mean like old Nudie mobile. You remember Nudie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Webb Pierce had one.
It had horns, that's right.
Yeah. MBCbeef.com.
Now, going back to the gathering, though, there was a great time. And I want to tell you, I enjoyed Saturday. And I'm always amazed at how good New Beginnings in Christ, everybody there, and I've been a part of it for a long time, but I don't do much there anymore. I'm just in and out sometimes. But if I ask anything of them, it's done. And that's incredible. If I break down in Savannah, and I call up there and, hey, I'm broke down in Savannah. Somebody's on their way. We'll be down to get you. No matter what I ask. And, I try not to, but when I want to have an event there, they are just go all out. They help. They prepared the food, the meats, they cooked it. I didn't have to touch anything. The tables and chairs set up. Everything was organized. And Anna Action Coward, she brought her girls from her women's recovery that she started in Garfield over. They helped serve the food, and it was just amazing. And I just want to thank them, everybody at NBIC. Mike Ogden, Joanna Axon, Anna, Wendell, my buddy Wendell Brown that works there.
You need to have Anna on.
I think we have her on.
We need to have her on again.
We did early on. We need to have her on again because and talk about the women's, because when she was on before, she had not started that then. But Wendell Brown's gone. He was going on a vacation this week, and he wasn't there. But, and of course, you had your father's memorial service, and Harvey wasn't able to come because he had agreed to officiate at a young man's wedding, and it was just something he felt led to do, and it was the right thing for him to do.
I have a very serious question to ask you though.
What's that?
While you tidy up there.
What's that?
Did they know that you were going to have the event this weekend?
Who?
New Beginnings.
No, I snuck it in on.
Well, you could never tell. Did they know?
Yeah, I called him Thursday. Look, and I said, man, Mark, Mike, shut up. You let me put. I said, Mike, I bought 12 Boston butts and a 40-pound of chicken legs. It's over at the IGA at Lenny's IGA. In
I'm going to have some friends
over there and get those and cook them Saturday morning. And they did. They went and got it. I didn't have to go get the meat. I paid for it, but they went and got it. I never saw any of it until I was eating it, And when Saturday morning about 9 o'clock, I said, I texted Mike. I said, Mike, did I mention that I needed the tables and chairs set up in the sanctuary like we did last time, and that would I need a few guys to help me with some stuff? He texted me back. It's done. It's ready.
It's done. It's ready. Yeah.
And I got there. It went off. It was amazing.
Well, I'm just glad that you thought in advance, way in advance of Thursday,
hours in advance,
to tell them that you were.
Yeah.
You had promoted an event, an event that has a readership of just about the size of a.
I am a procrastinator, so. Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, your reach is very big, almost that of the AJC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a big reach.
It was. I enjoyed it, and I think everybody that came enjoyed it. We had a good crowd, and I did apologize. I'm not sure I spoke to everybody, and that's always my goal, is to make sure I welcome everybody and thank them for coming. But when I get in it, I've got 40 things in my mind, and I forget, and get jumbled up. But we had a good time. We had some great music. My sister Connie played the piano, and she really she's going with it. And everybody got into the singing. And then
was Sister Connie moved by the Spirit?
She was. She really did. Especially on Our Flyway. That's Natalie, and that's one that's always going to be part of anything we have. Yeah. Then Chris Adams, Turtle Man Chris, came and he talked briefly about. Well, he thanked the group members for helping him replace his pickup recently, and he got a nice pickup truck, and he thanked everybody for that. And he talked about how important it is basically to save our rural heritage and culture, the old ways of doing things, and that's what he's committed to doing. And we do somewhat on Georgia Folk and Farm. Now, I know sometimes, bless his heart, Chris probably sees things I put on there sometimes and just rolls it, just puts his head in his hands, like, Lord have mercy. Because I tend to go off on tangents and be outrageous. And if Chris ran it, it would be strictly, just of cultural interest of Georgia folk and farm life, and that way it would have a narrow focus. Me, I'm way all over the place. I'm over here and I'm back over there, so. But anyway, he gave a very good talk, and it's always good to see Chris. We love Chris. And then we kind of segued over into the recovery part, the celebration and recovery.
For you.
For 15 years.
Yeah.
And Joanna Atkinson spoke, and Mike Ogden, our pastor there, spoke. And then Josh Walbart got up and thanked the group for helping. They donated, helped send he and his wife on the African mission to Uganda back in December, along with Pastor Mike and a few others. We helped fund our group helped fund that. So he thanked them for that, just as Chris thanked the group for helping him with his pickup. And Paul Adams, friend of mine, he spoke some. It was just everybody it was very informal, and we gave away the door prizes. And then about the last thing is Conway showed up for a visit, and just as we were leaving, he made a big duty right by.
I was going to ask, did he pee on the floor?
By the walkway.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm
Poor
not
old Conway.
I could have handled that one of two ways, and I'll let y'all figure out. I could have been one of those conscientious people that went and got some tissue in a bag and got it up. Or I could have just pretended I didn't see it and we slunk away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not say which one of those two scenarios occurred, but
Yeah. Well, I'm still focused on these rutabagas. We have got to get to the bottom of this and figure out who made.
if you made the rutabagas, they were really good. They were sweet and they just had a great.
I think we as we develop the festival ideas some more, I think we need to have a contest,
Rutabaga
a blue,
cook-off.
like a blue ribbon rutabaga cook-off or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can make a lot of things with rutabagas.
Yeah, you can make rutabagas.
Yeah.
Matt.
And
That's
pie.
all.
Well,
No,
pies.
you can't make anything
Yeah, you
except
can.
rutabagas.
You can
Hey,
make a pie out of it. You could make a.
Oh, good. You could carve them like a pumpkin and make little jack-o'-lanterns.
You could. You
Yeah.
could make a casserole with a rutabaga in it. There's a lot you can do with it. It's a very versatile fruit. Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause we could start a
a root
rumor
crop.
that it's actually a fruit.
It's a root crop, so yeah.
We could start it anyway. I'm glad. Was Susan there? Was Miss Susan Exley there?
Oh, that's somebody else. Susan worked the registration table, and she gave the numbers out. She got people to sign the book, and did the name tag, filled out the name tags for people, and she gave out the numbers for the door prizes.
That's great. And Miss Ruth, we know, couldn't make it.
No, she couldn't make it, but we love Miss Ruth, and she had been there if she could have. But we had it, like I said, it was people came from long distance. Some of them, it was heartwarming to see that.
And did I read where Faye and Brock were even there?
Faye and Brock were there and had a good.
Yeah.
I think they had a good time. We talked on the phone after they left, but we run out of cell service. They were going north, and so we finally lost touch. But I love Brock and Faye are just special people, and I was so glad they could come. It's break time.
It is break time, but I'm just so
Halfway.
glad that I'm glad it all went well down there. Let's sell some cattle. What do you say? Some beef.
Hi, this is Wade Peebles from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. And you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain-finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you. Georgia Radio. Good company and great country.
Enjoying the country music.
Well, you're back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back, and you're back. We're all back. Conway's over here. He looked at me like when I called his name. He's over here acting very calm and sedate. Sometimes during the show, he just wants to play, and I have to, when Matt's laughing because he can see me on the video, I'm over here just fending off Conway as he's playing, trying to keep him quiet. And, but that's part of being daddy.
My buddy sent me a video. He was he was fishing this weekend down in Louisiana. He's a friend of mine that lives in East Texas, and he went out to Louisiana to fish, and they were in the boat, and this alligator swims up, and his cousin was with him, and his cousin
The alligator's cousin?
his cousin.
Oh, you said
Randy's
alligator swam up and his cousin was with him. I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, Randy was in the boat, and Randy's cousin just jumps off the boat and tackles this alligator.
He's probably got other cousins, though, to take his place.
He does.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, if it didn't go well, but they were out doing something, and his cousin just jumped on this thing.
I've seen
last thing
Tarzan
I
do
expected.
that, but he had like a knife, which
No. This guy just ran
out.
out and bear hugged it. And I thought, man, alive, That's a hard way to get alligator nuggets.
Yeah.
You
can go to Canucci Catfish and order some of the best gator tail nuggets you ever ate.
Well, see, that's what I was waiting on. All that just to get that in. There you go.
Mm-hmm. And now Conway's alive and kicking now.
Yeah, he's after your ear again.
Yeah.
Well, with the gathering, congratulations, though, seriously, on a big success there with the gathering. That was terrific, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed that.
It did. I will tell you, the food was, well, Carson Sands, my boss man, was a great guy. He came. He had to leave early, but that was kind of him to come. But he told his wife that he'd never seen so much food, and it was. I told Judy that they were talking. I said, later in the day, after everything was over and everybody was gone, I was like, it was like in my mind, all that food was still up there, and I just wanted to go up there and just eat supper, go in there by myself and just and grease, as they say. But it wasn't there then, and I didn't. But there was so much that I couldn't eat it all. I mean, I couldn't taste it all, and there was a lot there that was just some of the finest food I've ever our members can.
All right,
cook.
Grandpa, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
What did you have up there? What all was up there? I know the rutabagas.
Well, of course,
you had the meats.
The guys in the program there at NBIC had slow cooked the Boston butts. They fried the 40 pounds of chicken legs. Then they bought chicken wings. They barbecued some and put hot sauce on. They fried. Then people brought dressing, cornbread dressing, butter beans, greens, rutabagas, broccoli and cheese, rice casserole, cabbage. Lady brought some of the finest chicken and dumplings you ever would have ate. Chris Clifton made a big pot of Brunswick stew, and they ate it all. It was gone. They washed the pot for him when he was leaving. I said, "Where's your stew?" He said, "They ate it all." It's a huge army pot, But there was, there was sweet potatoes. There was sweet potato casserole. Judy made congealed salad. There was just, I can't think of it all. Peas,
congealed
beans.
salad.
Yeah, Judy made a congealed salad. It was good.
All right. And a bunch of good stuff.
I mean, I can't even think of it all. Just name every country food that you ever saw. There was
cranberry sauce. I'm going to bring cranberry sauce.
No, nobody brought cranberry sauce. But
I'm going to buy the can in the kind of the
there
can.
You go. It's a can.
That's going to be my contribution.
Imitation homemade stuff.
Yeah. No.
Ocean
well, when you
Spray.
said chicken and dumplings, that's the first thing I thought about was cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
I like to have cranberry sauce with my chicken and dumplings.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the chicken and dumplings were great. I told you that's one of the lady that brought them. She told me to try them, and I was like, these like Granny made. These were just it was fantastic,
real good.
But like I say, there was so many things I just can't think of all of the different foods, but it was an incredible selection.
And what about dessert?
Really,
did you have dessert?
I didn't eat dessert, but there was some great desserts there too. There was banana pudding and pies, you name it, they was there.
Everybody had some. And
yeah, it was a wonderful meal. It really was.
Well, I hope that we have another gathering here real soon.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Need to do that and have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. When do we find out
fun.
About the next gathering? When are you gonna set the date?
It's about 2 years from now, I think.
Okay, I got something I got to do that day, but if you could,
you got something.
If you could figure it out, maybe another date, that'd be great.
Because we've talked about that before. I could say right now, okay, Madam, go ahead and say we're going. And this is making this up. This is not a real gathering on that date. I could say we're going to have a gathering next September the 9th of next year, and immediately people would start posting. I've got my grandson's t-ball game that afternoon. My niece is getting married, or we've got a weekend in Port Wentworth down there in my cousin's condo. He's gonna let us stay down there.
Well, that's the only time we can use it because it is a timeshare. And
it's just amazing at the things. I've got a Joy Club meeting that day. Like, I don't know what I'm doing next week, and I have not one day.
Well, I'm just so glad that you called them on Thursday.
I've got a date set aside that I'm supposed to be anywhere.
Yeah. I'm just glad you called them Thursday to tell them about the Saturday event. That makes me happy. That warms my heart. And it warms my heart to see Conway back bouncing around behind you back there. All right. We're out of time. Can you believe it? We're almost out of time. We got about 3 minutes left. And I know you had several words of wisdom that you wanted to leave us with today. And you can't pretend like your thing locked up on me, but here he goes yet again. Oh, my goodness. All right. In this case, I'm just going to do it. We're going to bow out and tell y'all we'll see you next time here on the Georgia Folk and Farm Life radio show. For Brother Wade, I'm Matt Jolly. We'll talk to y'all real soon, and as soon as Brother Wade reconnects, we'll all have a big laugh. Talk to y'all next week. So long for now, everybody.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.